Hey, Parker and I are back in the shop. We are preparing to put this strut on here on the right wing, and we want to get this strut in place before we move over here to the left wing. We're hoping to do that tomorrow, get the left wing, so we're here in the shop just for a little bit tonight, just to make some preparations for getting that done, getting this strut hopefully in place. The back one is not as critical because that front one's holding the dihedral angle. The back one is going to be helping to make sure that the incidence is the same at the root and the tip. So, but the most important one is the front one. As long as we get that one in place, we can do whatever we need to jump to the other side. But once that one's in, the back one won't be a problem. So, yeah. So we're gonna start out by cutting this main tube to length. The main strut tube is cut to 55 inches, and then he was just working on arranging the tubes and the brackets that we need to make this happen. So we've got those here, and the first thing we'll do, we'll cut this one off at 55 inches, just clean up the ends, and then get ready to start putting it on the plane. So okay, I'll get this cut. While I do that, Parker's going to double check all of the measurements. He'll make sure that the incidence, or not the incidence, the dihedral angle is still set at 3 degrees. The fuselage is level, and we'll go from there. All right. So you've seen me do this before, but I was just going to show you, just so you can see it. I just use a board to make sure I get a center line at both ends of the tube that match up. So just put it on a flat table and push down on your board and your tube, and then make your mark, and then you should be good. So now I've got a couple lines on there that should line up perfectly with each other. So, and it certainly appears that they do, which is good. And now what we do is to make the ends on for the strap side here, which goes down by the axle. I think there's maybe a little closer up version of this. I need a 1/2 inch. Yeah, the first hole is a 1/2 inch back from the edge. So we're gonna actually use the strap itself to drill where these two holes go. And so we'll just have to make sure that first hole is that there's at least a 1/2 inch. The center of that hole is a 1/2 inch back from the end of the tube. So we'll use this to locate these two holes, and then these two holes just get drilled at a 1/2 inch from the edge to the center of the first hole, because the two tubes here actually slide into the end of the tube, and then these get drilled at assembly. And down here you need to match the bracket, so I'm actually going to use the bracket to determine where those holes go. Okay, and then once we get the holes drilled straight through using the V-block, which we'll set up in the drill press, then I know, because I've already match drilled these, I know that we're going to end up right where we need to be on the other side. On the other side for this block, which goes like that, and then this one goes here, and everything should line up nicely. We cross our fingers. Okay, so next step is make a couple of marks with the drill itself. Well, I'll use a hand drill first, and then once I get some center marks drawn on here, I'll use this hinge. I'll locate my 1/2 inch. We'll center this up on these on the line here, and I'll use the hand drill to make a couple of marks. You know, actually I don't have to do that. I will center punch a 1/2 inch from the edge right on the line for the first hole, and then we'll put a bolt in it, and then we can actually turn this then until we're aligned for the second hole, and then we can actually drill that hole, and then I think we'll have a much better fit that way. So, and then on the other end we're just going to mark the 2 holes, drill them through. It'll be all good. Okay, I'll get the V block set up, and then we'll move on here. All right, I've got the punch marks here. This is the top of the tube. This is the lower portion that's going to be matched with the strap, so I've only put 1 punch mark because we're going to line up this hole with it, and we'll put a bolt through it, and then we'll actually line this up and make our mark for the second hole. So now we're going to drill this out. We do have our 1-inch piece that goes on the axle, which is right here. This is basically the wheel retainer, and this bracket and the strap down there, you'll see actually go over this. So we'll show you how all that goes together when we get to that point. Right now we're going to drill these 3 holes. You can drill both of these before assembly, and you do drill both of these, but they need to match this bracket. So, okay, drill some more holes. We got the V block set up. You've seen me do this multiple times already, so you know how that works. We'll get these 3 holes drilled, and then off we go. All right, so there's one thing I wanted to show you that I do when I'm drilling like multiple holes in a tube like this, and you want them to line up. After I drill the first hole through, even though the starting point is on the same line, you want to make sure that they are parallel to each other. So I just drop a bolt through, and then when I get the drill through the first hole, I just come down and I make sure I turn the drill off, and then I make sure that the tube is rotated so that the bit's running parallel to the other bolt, and that helps with alignment. Once you get that aligned, I keep pressure on the drill, and then I turn the drill on and I go the rest of the way through. That seems to really help a lot, so I will show you that on this drill. All right, now I've got the first one through, and I'm just sighting down here, and we are absolutely centered on the drill bit. That's exactly what we want. So while I'm holding pressure, I start the bit back up. You notice I have an assistant holding the pipe. With someone holding the tube, it makes a world of difference. So, all right, here we go. And that helps guarantee that we have parallel holes. All right. All right, so here's how this process goes. We've got this one. I made sure the wheel is tight against the back spacer, and then this one slides on right here. And we've just got a hole in one side. We're gonna drill that one first. I'm using a DeWalt right angle. And then this end, out here gets this tube assembly. So this goes on here, like so, and then the tube will be slid on there, and there's probably all right, so we're good there. All right, and then down here we have to we have to line up this front hole, and then we drill through the front, and then we go around and we drill from the back forward, and then we'll try and run the drill straight through, and we hope for the best. So we'll get this aligned and get this first hole, and let's see here. So we'll get this all squared away, and yeah, rock and roll. All right, so we're through our tube up here, and we just put the bolt through. It's just loosely there, and we're lining up down here. Let me pop the camera real quick so I can show you. We're lining up down here. We're just trying to get our hole aligned. It looks like you're there, Parker.
Yeah, I tried to get it aligned.
So then we'll just come in the front side. We'll drill a hole front to back. Go in the back side, drill a hole back to front. And then we'll be able to match those holes through. And we'll be ready to put a bolt through there. And that will be then you come up here, you slide this tube down here so that this one's flush with the top of this one, and then you drill through both sides, both to go through both of these tubes, and then you drill straight through each of them, make sure that you fit all the way through, and then you've got your dihedral angle set. So all right, we're going to give this a go down here with the right angle, and we got our fingers crossed that this goes really smooth, because this could be challenging. All right. Whoops. Now we'll stick a bolt in the front while we drill the back. Now it can't move, so. All right. Not much chance we'll hit it exacts until we drill that straight through. So last night Parker and I had dinner plans that we had to get to. So today we're back in the shop, and our plan is to basically, where we left off was we were not able to drill all the way through to match up these two holes. We drilled through from both sides. But what we've decided to do is just go ahead and take the wheel off real quick, drill through, and then put the wheel back on, put the bolt through, and then we can go up here and actually drill through these after we check the make sure our dihedral angle hasn't changed. All right, we'll get to that. Alright, so we've got our bolt through there, and we got that all taken care of, and now there's an inner tube here, and then this tube is actually inside that tube that's inside this tube. So now that we've checked our dihedral angle, everything's good. So now we'll drill through from both sides, these holes right here. We'll go on the back side and drill those through, and then we'll run the drill all the way through, and then we'll stick a couple bolts in there, and then that'll be set. So that's the next step here. It's hard to get a lot of leverage with that one.
That's fair, yeah. Through first level or both?
So now I'll stick a bolt in there. I see you know how this drill goes. This is how we do it. You should have plenty of room there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty level?
Come down. There you go, right there. Down a little more, right there. Good?
Not quite.
Tighten up the bit.
Oh, you can feel that warm right there.
Yeah, you have to just back off and back yourself out a little bit, give it a little speed, and then you can go forward. It's biting something in. There you go. Alright, go ahead and find your hole. You're right there. Alright. That one's good. And now you can do number 2.
Like that?
That looks pretty good.
There you go, right there.
Right there?
Yep. That's a little long.
That's a 16.
Huh?
Did we say 16th? No?
It might have been 14s.
Let me go see what I grabbed. All right, so we went ahead and assembled the rear tube, and you can see how that goes here. It's basically the 2 metal brackets, and it gets the block that you have that we made. It's basically a solid block. Those holes are just offset a little bit, and the way that goes is what we have to do is get this in place and then figure out, take some measurements to figure out what our distance is. Just put a bolt through here. Should be right there. All right. And then that's going to swing over. That allows that to pivot right there. And so we will double check our, we'll just take a measurement from here down to there, and we'll cut our tube, and then we'll keep test fitting and cutting if we need to. So we'll get the tape measure and pull that together. And so we'll just hook onto the tube up here, and then we'll measure down to where we think we need to be down here, how far we need to go past, which I believe, when I look at the drawing, I mean, it comes in here, and we're gonna have to flatten one end of it so we get a nice fit right here. So that's what we'll do. Catch a measurement, cut the tube, and keep testing it. All right, so we just want to catch up here. So you saw how this all goes together right here, and then all we had to do was we started out with our tube at 62 and a half, 61 and a half, and then we actually had to take another quarter inch off, maybe, just so we could clear the bolt and everything down in here. And now the tube slips on.
You also have to chamfer it.
Yeah, that's right. We also had to. You have to flatten the bottom here. You can see that right there. So you have plenty of clearance, and you can get all the way down to where you can center up on your tube. So Parker's got it marked now where the center is. So now we're just going to get it in place. We'll use our 90-degree drill again, and we'll drill from the top, and we'll come underneath, drill from the bottom, and it'll be the same procedure as before. We'll get a bolt in there, and then, but the first thing we did is we made sure our incidence angle here and at the tip are exactly the same. Yeah, this works out really well. This is actually pretty ingenious little block assembly here. So we have an insert that goes in the tube as well. So after we get the first hole drilled, we'll be able to hold it in place. We'll drill a hole through the other tube, and then we'll be able to hold it in place with a bolt while we drill the second hole. Yeah, so hey, talking about it, doing it, two different things. We need to do it, so let's do it. Yeah, there we go. Actually, that looks pretty good, so. Lighter touch there. And like we always do, throw a bolt in.
I didn't really get that hole straight, did I? Well, I guess I kind of did.
Yeah, it's straight. As long as that looks square to this, that looks square to this direction.
I think you're good there.
Right? Alright. Take our bolt anyway. just to make sure we can go through. Yep. All right, sweet. Now we'll take this out. We will put the insert in, and then we will drill this hole through again, and then we'll drill the first hole. All right. So there's a lot of steps here, a lot of match drilling, a lot of test fitting, and you just want to take it slow, look one step at a time. Try not to get too far ahead of yourself. And so what I'm doing now is I've got the holes where we match drilled to the bracket, and now I need to, I've got my other tube inserted here, and so now I'm just match drilling the tube. I already drilled a hole through the tube on the V block, but just very minor difference in the hole alignment. So, so what I have to do is just attach my drill here and just make sure I can get fitted. It's like really, really close, but just not quite close enough. So it's just going to take just a tiny bit, a little twist. And then I should be able to slide my bolt through there. Once I get the bolt in, like so. Now I'll actually be able to come up here and drill the second hole, which is 3 inches from the first hole. So I'll just measure that off here, and we'll get that drilled, and then that'll have this assembly all ready to get attached. All right.
Flatten this out too.
Yeah. So we got the second hole drilled. So the plan, I didn't notice it actually calls for an AN3-13A there, and this one gets a 4-16. We went with a 4 by accident, but that's okay. Just a little bigger bolt, no problem. And now all I got to do is flatten this end to match the tube, and then we'll be ready to put this one in place. So we'll go over here and do that. Can't do it with this thing like that, can you? Still want it to move around. Yeah. All right, so we got everything's all connected here. We're connected back here. Dihedral set, incidence is set. Like Parker said, we've got a wing and one in place. Feels really good. Now we can actually take our stands over to the other side, and then we're going to take a break. And yeah, so we'll get into putting the other wing on. And but hey, thanks for hanging out with us, checking out the video. You know, we do appreciate it a lot. And for all the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I hope you're enjoying following along on the build. All right, so hey, as always, we'll catch you later. All right.